Hello Bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to bring you a Top 5 Wednesday. Top 5 Wednesday is a Goodreads group that is currently hosted by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. I will link her channel and the Goodreads group down below in the description box. I haven't done Top 5 Wednesday in quite a while, but when I saw this topic, I got really excited about it and I knew that I wanted to participate this week. So the topic this week is 5 authors that you would like to write like. If you saw my video last week, which I will link for you, I talked about why I decided not to do NaNoWriMo this year and a little bit about my journey to get to the point where I have decided that I do want to try and write a novel one day before I die. There are definitely more than just 5 authors that I would like to write like, but I picked 5 different authors for different reasons, and I'll talk about those reasons when I name each of them. These authors are in no particular order. I do love all of these authors' work, except maybe the last one. I've only read one of her books and I didn't really like it, but I still put her on this list for what I think is a good reason, and we'll get to that when we get to that. The first author I want to talk about is Laini Taylor. So I was first introduced to Laini Taylor when I read her Daughter of Smoke and Bone series. It's one of my favorite series. I inhaled all 3 of those books. I mostly listen to them on audio. Those audiobooks are fantastic. But the reason why Laini Taylor is on this list is because she has very beautiful writing. And I'm usually not the type of person who likes purple prose. I don't like things to be overly flowery, but I didn't have that problem with Laini Taylor. She has a way of writing that is beautiful and lyrical, but without being over the top. I don't usually have like favorite quotes or anything like that, but I remember when I was reading her series, there were multiple quotes and sentences that I absolutely loved. They took my breath away because of how beautifully they were constructed, but also like the meaning behind the sentences. When I go back and reread the series, which I know I will at some point, I definitely want to mark them. At the time, I didn't have my own copies of her books, but I do now. One of the few series that I own. Her writing is gorgeous, and I can't recommend her books enough. I haven't read Strange the Dreamer. It's very high on my TBR. It was one of the books I pre-ordered this year, which I never do, and I still haven't read it, which is why I should never pre-order books, because this is what's going to happen. The second author that I want to talk about today is Patrick Ness. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I love Patrick Ness. I really enjoyed his Chaos Walking series when I read it, I guess almost 2 years ago now. That can't be right. It's been a while. What I really loved about the Chaos Walking trilogy is that the main plot, the main storyline is an action-adventure, science fiction plot, but what I found with all 3 of these books is that there are a lot bigger themes that he's touching on while still having a really exciting main plot. I don't know if this makes a lot of sense. His books really just made me think about a lot of things. It made me think about war. It's not really about good guys versus bad guys, because both sides are good people and they're just trying to do what they think is right and what they can to survive. I mean, it's like that kind of complex theme that is portrayed through a much more simple plot. Like I said, I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I feel about the Chaos Walking trilogy, that it's about a lot more than what the plot is. And I think that's really admirable and not an easy thing to do, and I would love to be able to do that one day. The next author I want to talk about is Robert Jordan. So I have been on a huge Wheel of Time binge lately. I've been rereading that series. I've been talking about Robert Jordan and the Wheel of Time a lot. I mean, honestly, Robert Jordan could probably be interchanged with Brandon Sanderson or George R.R. Martin, because the reason why he's on this list is because of his intense world building. When I sit and think about it, I'm just amazed at what he's done, because there are so many cultures, a magic system that is unique compared to anything else that I've read. It's just so complex. There's so many countries, so many cultures, and there's also hints at things that have happened in this world that we can't even touch on in the scope of this 15-book series, because the world is just that big. I really admire complex world building. Literally, Robert Jordan, Brandon Sanderson, George R.R. Martin, all of those authors, their ability with world building just blows my mind. How are you so creative that you can come up with all of those things that are also unique to your world that you're creating? I'm flabbergasted. I just don't know how they do it. That's just something that I would like to be able to do one day, is create these super complex worlds. I just think it's amazing. The next author on my list is Kiersten White. I haven't read a lot of Kiersten White's books. but I have read And I Darken by her, and I hopefully will be reading the sequel very, very soon. Just like Strange the Dreamer, it's been pretty high on my TBR for a while. What I loved about And I Darken was how complex the characters and their relationships with each other were. You really got to know the main characters and understand their motivations, and the way that their motivations affected not just their decisions, but just like their relationships with each other and other characters. It wasn't black and white, they were all shades of gray. I was always rooting for them. Even if one person got what they wanted, it would mean another character wouldn't get what they wanted. But at the same time, I was so conflicted about what I wanted, because I just love these characters and I want them to get what they want. Don't know how she did it. I think that is such a hard thing to do, and I really hope that one day I can accomplish that too. Okay, so the last author on my list is Mindy McGinnis. So I mentioned that I can't say that she's one of my favorite authors. I've only read one of her books, and that was her most recent release, This Darkness Mine, and I didn't like it. I gave it, I think, a 2, maybe, I think I ended up with a 3, like a 2.5 to 3 star rating on it. But I could see the potential in her writing, and I do want to try more of her books. I've heard so many good things about her other books, but the reason why Mindy McGinnis is on this list, even though the one book by her I've read I didn't like, is because Mindy McGinnis has published books in so many different genres. Her most recent release was a horror. She's written a contemporary mystery thriller book. She's written historical fiction. She's written dystopian. I mean, those are 4 pretty different genres. Typically, authors don't do that. Or if they do, it's over like a wider period of time. Like they have more books in one genre and then maybe they like move on to a different one. But like literally every single book that Mindy McGinnis has published has been in a different genre. I'm totally amazed that she has been able to write such different books. And for the most part, people like all of them. I know her most recent book was hit or miss with a lot of people, and I totally understand why. That's why it was kind of hit or miss with me too. More of a miss than a hit, really. But I just think it's got to take so much talent to be able to write in that many genres and to pull it off as well as she has. So that is why she's on my list. Okay, so those are 5 authors that one day I would like to be able to write like. I definitely think it's a lot to ask to be able to do all 5 of these things well, but hopefully I can learn from these authors, pick up a few things from each of them, and be able to incorporate them in my writing. Let me know down in the comment section which authors you would like to write like and why. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I post bookish videos once a week, so if you like bookish content, be sure to subscribe to my channel. That's all I have for now, so until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye. I will link her good so I definitely recommend that series. That I definitely recommend. Not only affected the decisions that they made, but and the way that their decisions. If you like this video, be sure to give it a bye.